too close, you might get burned.
Free Fire India is set in a virtual world and is not based on the real world. Don't worry if you're eliminated. Respawn awaits.
Good. The Yagami's name will live onward.
And ended up losing every single one of those trades. And this is just going to try and run the clock. I think Joker has much that he can do. He could delay his demise and just talk about what they're going to do in round number 9. But for WAG, solid recovery. Tikwe, 10 eliminations so far.
I mean, this guy has been aggressive at this point, and especially with how the rest of the teams is moving in for the backup or quick backup, I guess Tikwe can bring on Scar in his hand, and it's level 3. So, you know, their fire rate is already good on that weapon, but the damage will increase as well. But Tikwe, he is just showing up as a decoy at this point, just making sure the Joker peeks out, and an opening for X4, who got tired of being the rusher. He wants that AWM as well.
Yeah, all smiles on the faces of the WAG players. They know this round is pretty much settled.
It's just a wait.
And come on, Joker, come on, give it to him.
Nah.
You got it with the explosive charm though.
It's tough though. I mean, that's and that is what we've pointed out from before, especially in Russia and Clash Squad. It's always quite far from the rest of the teams. Thus, when he is left alone, the rest of the team is already taken out. There's not so much that you can do, and snipers or Explorer is trying to change that script. He's going for a rusher role, but can also use a sniper so that he can always be with the rest of the teammates.
WAG, it's time. We're gonna take it slow. They actually PLS1 posted very, very far up. The Games King and Turbo doubling up. See the explosive kunai in hand. Throws it right at the blue wall. Decoy. Not even phased. They even swapped the decoy. The position of the decoy with Della. I'm not really sure if that was spotted out by WAG. Very early usage of the ability, so good chance that they already saw Della and then did a fake out afterwards.
You know, there goes shots from afar, but Turbo won't be able to do any damage on that MP at that point from afar. But Joker right now, AWM, does have advantage from this high ground, but he needs to move away in a bit. Otherwise, it will be a repeat of what happened earlier.
Turbo, Games King, and Della tripling up. Once more Joker on that roof. Last time that Movie Star R7 got the round win, it was off of the play of Joker and Games King on these high grounds. They've been taking turns, depending on the situation, but WAG have been a lot more aware, and potential Red Tico just pokes his head out a little bit, doesn't have the weapon to fight at that range just yet. Coda cooldown not back up, but X4 makes the call to at least establish some presence outside, but they still need the Coda.
Yeah, they need the Coda to get information, but what can they do? The R7 is already blocking their approach. They are already blocking their way and taking lead as well on the Chef Circle. Turbo on the other side will need to wait on one area and they might be able to take down Export. But no, Drupal pushes away and almost being taken down. But Joker would be the next target. Cyrus with that knockdown with a Groza, and X4 with a UMP in hand. I don't think that rush can help them, and it is just WAG wanting to end this game that quick.
WAG will take match number 1 on Bermuda 6-3 over Movistar R7. High fives all around. I think Movistar R7, they have a pretty decent idea on how to deal with WAG. You know, high ground control is one, but also taking advantage of the fact that the timings for WAG have to be precise. And one of the rounds that they won was just being able to run the WAG when they did not have the abilities online. But in rounds where WAG was able to slow it down and drag it out for the second rotation of their cooldowns, that's where time runs out for R7 and space runs out for R7. So the Akatsuki clan takes map 1.
Yeah, Katsuki clan takes map 1, but I don't think this is the end for Movistar R7. The adjustment, we are seeing a few of those adjustments, but it was too late. And WAG can also be countered later on, especially in the next rounds, bans and picks. So the draft would change. I'm not sure though what they need to take out, because there's a lot that has potential of a clutch potential for WAG that win or that made them win that game.
Yeah, like Tikwe, I definitely came online. You know, this guy was all gas, no brakes that game. PLS 1-2 putting out some incredible clutches. What we won, we did see some pretty funny moments in the opening round where I feel like Movistar R7 could have had a decent round 1 and then they bailed on each other. But we saw the idea on how they could recover into the game. They just were not able to constantly pull it off. And maybe it's the understanding on the timings and all. But for first time, I think it's not too bad for a debut. They did put up a fight against WAG.
Definitely, I mean, especially with Games King putting in so much of elimination and damage as well. But it's just like still needs a little bit more of tweaking at this point. But there's still more chances because it's best of 3, similar to what we see in the KOL match earlier. But they need to make those changes real quick. And we do have a change of scenery at this point, because done with Bermuda, we're going to switch it to a different map. So hopefully this is the advantage that Movistar R7 is waiting for.
Yeah, and the map switch also, if anything, these high ground controls are going to be a lot more important, right? I believe we're going to Kalahari next, and if my memory serves me right, it's going to be Kalahari. It means more open ground, more high ground control needed, and that's where the tag team between Games King and Joker is going to pay off a lot more.
Yeah, let's see though. I mean, Joker is doing so much more in identifying where the opponents are, but the clue is not. I would say it's not his best active skill. So he could have switched over to a Santino. He could have saved him all of those like punishes in the final moment. But let's take a look at the scoreboard right now. And I guess our MVP would be Tikui with that 11 elimination. But looking at Games King, 13 elimination, and they didn't even put in they had only half of the game in this series. So if in case they are giving that chance, I think Games King can bring a lot more.
Yeah, I mean Games King has been really just hard carrying the team that game. Joker is the one that needed to step up. Joker and Turbo both not really contributing in the elimination department, but you can kind of see the playmaker that game, right? Games King was really hauling the weight of the team. In the first map, Bermuda 6-3 in favor of WAG, representing the Akatsuki clan. I'm gonna hit Kalahari and see if Movistar R7 can reel it back and bring us to a map 3.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that is one thing that they need right now, and hopefully this break time would help them really identify what needs to be worked on, because there's only 7 points in Kalahari that they can work with, and only some of those will be favorable for snipers. But PLS1, speaking of sniper, he will be the MVP, and it's not because of the elimination and it's because of the damage. He has so much more in those fights and managed to get 3273 in the damage with only 4 elimination, always at the distance, and he is the bomber in title. But the way he played it, as well as skills, he is being the sniper of this team for that game.
Yeah, he definitely is. Overall, the damage, sure, doesn't really translate into the eliminations that he has, but he is a great setup for the team, right? He's been able to make sure that he chips away at the resources and the health bars of Movistar R7 before the rest of his teammates swoops in. Leaderboard for eliminations, of course, Games King leads it for now, 13 eliminations, and then everyone else is Tikoi, Export, Della, and PLS1.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we do have this leaderboard that we are looking into, and this is something to really change the pace of the game. If you will be the ones in high contention of that leaderboard, there's a huge chance, well, that your team will be winning. Because as you can see, you did mention that Tikui is the highest elimination for WAG, and it's only a Games King who brought in so much of those KDs in that fight. So it's very close, though, very close between them, and it's just for the rest of the team to really bring in so much of the numbers. Also, rotation-wise, they should make it work, and it starts off with this next round. If R7 can bring this back, then they might be able to take it back to back and win this series.
Yeah, and some teams, they are more of a late bloomer, right? They get up to a slow start, but once they warm up the engines, they go and they don't look back. And of course, winning the series also has not just the implication of going into the 1-0 bracket and having the chance to qualify to playoffs immediately, but you also put yourselves in a situation where, in a Swiss round format, for those who don't know, you only play with team goes 1-0 as well. So you eliminate 4 teams from the equation for your next match right off the bat. In this case, if you're WAG, if you beat R7, then you will only face the winners of their respective series in the upcoming matches.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, less games for you and already qualifying into the playoffs. That's one thing that WAG is aiming for, especially with that one win against R7 at this point. And R7 is trying to do that in this next match. Again, it is Kalahari for our next game. Potential for where they will be fighting is, again, 7 points in the map. We have Shrines, Foundation, Command Post, Mammoth, Stone Ridge, as well as Santa Catarina, and finally Council Hall. And Council Hall is one thing that really stresses me out because of how small it is, and there's really little movement that you can do because of the elevation, the second floor. You will just need to bounce off either from those tires or take one stair which is on the other side. So whatever you are, that's what you can take advantage, especially if you're a sniper. But once you move around that, it would be quite difficult. But I'm pretty sure these pro teams don't have that problem. They can move in and out of any situation. It's just up to the rest of the team's chemistry as well as survivability to make it work.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes Kalahari so unique, whether it's Battle Royale or Clash Squad mode. I think it's just the design itself, right? It forces you to play a slightly different style and to face your fears of the open.
Yeah.
So I think for R7, if they've shown us anything in map 1, is that the high ground control is paramount, right? They love to control
Phase of draft, and this who gets a pick first. So earlier it was WAG. So I guess this time around, unless it's a win first, it might be no movie stars are safe. But here's an intro video for everyone.
Dạ, nhân vật yêu thích nhất của em là Naruto, bởi vì nhân vật chính. Nhưng mà trong mọi chuyện Naruto, mà em yêu thích nhất là Itachi, vì nó cool ngầu và khá là mạnh ở trong phim. Dạ là Falcon, tại vì tụi em đã thất bại với họ trước 2 lần. Điểm em muốn đánh bại nhất là Evot, bởi vì em đã thua họ ở mùa giải trước. Dạ em nghĩ là Fluso, bởi vì bên Brazil họ không mạnh về mặt tự chiến. Em em nghĩ đội dễ đánh bại nhất là RQ, bởi vì em không đánh giá cao tỷ tỉa của team RQ. Map yêu thích nhất của em là map quân sự, bởi vì em luyện tập cái map đấy trong buổi stream và bắn răng rất nhiều.
Dạ anh rất tự tin về cái này. Nghĩ là sẽ đứng top 1 và trở thành nhà vô địch ạ.
Chúng tôi tôn trọng Evot vì thành tích của họ, qua đó cũng là động lực để chúng tôi cố gắng và vượt qua họ ở trận đấu sắp tới.
Họ mạnh thật, nhưng không thể bị hạ gục.
Tốt nhất các bạn đừng mắc sai lầm, vì mục đích của chúng tôi đến đây là để chiến thắng.
WAG, as we prepped for our next game between them and Movistar R7. Again, all pressures right now for Movistar R7, though they still have another chance at this point for tomorrow. But at least, as you did mention, you want to get that win first in day number 1, and then follow it through by the next game within the end of this day.
And for those just tuning in, you actually haven't really missed out too much. You know, we're just getting started. We got what, 5 more series, including one show match. So there's 6 more after this. 6 more best of 3s lined up. Into the draft we go. For Kalahari this time, it's all for the marbles into Movistar R7, A124 banned again.
A124 will be taken out. They really don't want that A124 because of how it damages their potential of rushing. Alongside Oscar will win as well with WAG, and this was, if I'm not mistaken, this was their pick from the previous map. So I'm not sure what ideation is, but Clue once again being picked by Movistar R7 and Cassie on the other side. I believe it will be another Coda that will be picked up. No, it's the same. So they just traded off their bans with their pick.
Yeah, so they could double down on the Clue Coda for Movistar R7. We have seen that before. But you do end up sacrificing, you know, a bit of that aggression, right? You're playing very U2 heavy. They take the Santino once more, which was what worked for them in the previous round. Tatsuya again. So interestingly enough, previously before Oscar was a thing, when Tatsuya wasn't available, people go for full U2. They go for Coda, they go for Zane, Cassie, and then they guess into the mix. Sometimes they put a Clue or Santino. So Movistar R7 still wants to bank in on more the aggressive ability. And this time the Homer comes out for WAG, and that is going to be a big problem for Movistar.
Yeah, I mean, since it's Shockwave, I mean, that drone that really gives you that pulse that disables you for a few seconds, you will really need to get away. So I guess the Steffi is also a saving grace for them. We won't be dealing with so much of the throwables, and it can save you that much. But it's pretty much the same of what we've seen earlier, apart from that Steffi being pulled in.
So to take Steffi, that's one way to deal with the utilities. Honestly, the only thing that it's okay, probably the grenades, you know, or the play bombs and the Homer missiles. I think looking at WAG, they probably wouldn't be too bothered. I mean, this Zane Cassie is a bit of a pain in the butt to deal with.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you have someone who's like, who have an extreme state. You'll be able to shield up that quickly, and then you have someone who can back you up with that basic therapy as well as focus therapy later on. So Tikui and Cyrus, and well, no question that is Tikui on that Sing, because he did so much of the damage and elimination earlier that he needs to be buffed up a little bit. So I guess this is ideal at this point. X4 might be back into using that sniper unless it's still PLS who will be using that, and X4 will be the ones up front.
So we do get export this time on the coda. Really going to the support this time. We take out different roles. It's interesting. And then got Kakashi in the house. No, cover that eye. You can't just randomly Sharingan the whole place. Some pretty dangerous people in the house. Gotta be responsible with that ability. You know, Obito didn't give you his eye for nothing. Okay.
I mean, that's the reason. I mean, probably he's like, because of the travel, that the effect has died down a little bit, or he used it so much already.
He got tired from the traveling.
He used it so much already against so many people. He's on the venue, and he can open it up at that moment. All right, so there we have it. We have all those picks and bans, and just waiting for the team to be set up. Once again, Movistar R7, they banned out A124, pick Clue, Santino, Tatsuya, as well as Steffi. And for WAG, they took out Oscar and picked Cassie, Zane, Koda, and Homer. This is interesting though, because for Movistar R7, I think the what they're looking for is not a change of skills or active skills. It's more the change of rotation and strategy. That's why they're sticking with most of what they used earlier. But for WAG, they want to ensure that they get this next round so that they can secure their spot for that 1-0 series.
Yeah, and they get quite a break before the next one too. And obviously, one step closer to playoffs. Is that the? Is that the Isha Ramen? Is that a ramen shop? Oh, it certainly looks like it with the banners. So many fun activities. What is this? So we
This
saw
is a clay bird area.
Okay.
They have clays, and they're going to use it to make birds. And hopefully it doesn't explode in the venue though.
Yeah. I don't think it will. Right? The one that explodes are imbued with chakra from Deidara himself. Should be safe. Safe play.
Let's see, we are just waiting for the game to begin. And for those of you in the chat right now, I'm pretty sure you're excited as well. But for those of you who have been playing Clash Squad, what do you think? Would this change of picks for WAG give them another win? Or with the retention of Movistar R7 make them secure another point and head over to the next round, to the next game? I know it's too early to count, too early to say, but this is something that you can put out in chat right here as we wait for the games. Oh, I love this game that we're seeing right now. Taking it out with a fan, and we're talking about fans in the venue.
Yep, I believe that's wait, no, that's not Tamari's fan. Which fan is that? So many activities. What else have they not shown us? Hidden gems every now and then. Now I'm excited. What if we have a ceremony tomorrow for the grand finals? We have some more surprises. I know that they surprised everyone at the FFWS Global last year at Rio.
Yeah. There's a lot of activities really that, and it's tough to beat this kind of event. I know this is a show match event. This is a show match event. It's not, I would say it's still competitive. It's still S tier, but you know the what's at stake is not that big. But with everything in the venue, it's really difficult to top this off for the next one. So I feel bad for the organizers of the next one. Hopefully it's the same team though. At least it's them going against themselves.
Yeah. I think it's been the same team for quite a while. I'm not sure. Either way, with the fact that the bar keeps getting higher every event really shows the progressive growth, because we got very friendly crowd and venue. It's almost dinner time, but I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna stick around for a very, very long time. Hold on, is that? Is the red moon activating already? We're not even nighttime yet.
Well, let's see now. Let's see. What we're waiting for is the game to be activated. Excited to see who's going to pop off this time. If any of the tactics of Movie Star R7 would work against WAG, or will WAG just be chill at this point? No, like not really pressured in this game, because we want to see that. We want to see more of, I would say, counters being brought in by the Latam teams, because this is a different story overall. Yes, Battle Royale, they champion their way into their region, but going against a different region, a different team, in a different mode is a different story.
Yeah, it is. It's gonna take a couple of seasons for us to have a good Clash Squad narrative, but when the time comes, oh boy, we got so much to cover. As if Battle Royale already doesn't have enough. We need someone to really start going through the archives, because I can't remember things that happened 5 years ago. At least not all of them.
I mean, I don't have that good of memory, but that's why I go into data. That's why I stack it up on data. So we have that scrolls available to be looked into.
Yeah, and it's I over time I start to appreciate data a lot more, for sure. Yeah. Though I think one of the best few days is still like LDDS days. Let's take a look at Movie Star R7.
Mi personaje favorito es Naruto porque creo que la historia que tiene es muy motivadora. Campeones mundiales y la confianza de ellos yo creo que debe estar muy alta.
Los oponentes más complicados para nosotros son Team Falcons, ya que tienen muy buenos jugadores en su equipo. a los, ya que en los entrenamientos lo vienen muy bien. Puridad, por favor, nosotros no estamos asustados ni un poco. ¿Ustedes no tienen miedo? De Cruz, ya que en la EWC no participó en ninguna partida y creo que ya es historia. Sí, me siento muy confiado de poder barrerlo nuevamente. Podemos salir campeones.
Alright, we have it. We have Movistar R7 just sharing their mind right now, and I love that quote or that note to Purem United. Por favor. And I guess it is showing. BRU, yes, there were. There's a lot of challenge that has been brought in by BRU, but I think they toned down a little bit. Even in EWC, we've seen that happen.
Yeah, I kind of a low blow, to pick on the Cruz. He didn't play. Come on, pick on someone your own size, man. They still would have a chance to play against each other if they do meet. Seeing how things are going, they might have to wait for the 0-1 or the 1-1 bracket.
We'll have to see though. But I guess they take it that hard from the time that the Crews really brought in the championship to their championship home, and they still couldn't forget it. So that's a huge, I would say, a huge punch that even after so many years, you can still remember that name. Even if he hasn't played, still remember that he's the one who made the trouble for us. But, well, let's see now. WAG right now is waiting, or we are just waiting for the battle between WAG as well as Movistar R7. And just to make sure that everything is set. Because you know how it is in LAN events, in LAN setup, there will be some complication, and we are making sure that those complications is fixed before the actual battle. There's still some stakes involved, and that prize pool would be something that you would want to grab even in a show match like this.
Yeah, unfortunately, we gotta make sure that the devices isn't under some kind of genjutsu. We've got to free our technicians from that too, so we can get the show running. And now, I mean, it's pretty lively. The crowd also have a lot of activities to keep them occupied in case of a potential delay. In this case, plenty of booths to check out on. You can interact with the pro players. We just saw BRU, at the venue not long ago. Gives the teams some time to also kind of reassess the situation, right? Assess the situation, kind of, plan the next move, re-strategize a little bit, reset the morale. Although for WAG, all high spirits.
Yeah, I mean, all high spirits, they are in the groove right now, especially with the point that they grabbed in that first game between them and R7. But again, a different side of the venue right here. I guess that was the entrance before you head into the dark side. it's still sunny, I would say, but I would say otherwise from where I am. But again, this matchup is, I want to look forward to if the changes that has been done for WAG would still be effective against Star R7, because I did mention earlier, there's not so much of change for R7, it's just a strategy that they are formulating right now.
Yeah. Look at that. I still wonder how they achieved this statue thing. Even though even if it's just cardboard, it still looks pretty quite a feat of marvel, right? With that size. Have you ever wondered how these characters have so much hair? The hair care routine.
Well, I would say that is art. It's something that a lot has talent for, and we like to see that up close and personal. But now, I guess the setup is still ongoing for WAG side. A few more of a few more part of the venue right now is copying. Is it copying all of those signs, all those hand signs?
Yes.
And not quite sure what the target is though. How many, like, count? How many you got correct?
Do it right. You get to
Yeah,
clone
do it
yourselves.
right. Imagine someone like, I thought I saw you earlier. Then it was one of the others.
Yeah, he successfully did the shadow clone jutsu.
I was thinking about that earlier as well when they had two Narutos in in the map. I thought they did just went in for that shadow ball, but yeah, they just have the same skin.
Yeah, they do. And this is a score update for those who just tuned in. It's 1-0 in favor of Movie Star. Oh, actually, no, WAG. They did win map 1 6-3 on Bermuda. Movie Star R7, they did come pretty close, but again, they not able to capitalize on the wind conditions, I think, was kind of what led to the downfall. Though right now, I think for WAG, I definitely am liking this match 2 draft a lot more than match 1, simply because of I feel like Movie Star R7, they they were responding to WH's draft. The first pick clue was what I felt incredibly weird. Because I feel like there were a lot more power picks that they could have gone for. Like the Zane, for example, which was a prime first pick back then, before Oscar and Tetsuya were a thing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Zane is something that you would want, especially in a battle just like this, close quarter combat. But again, speaking of close, we are close to beginning our round number 2 between these two teams. WAG from Vietnam and Homestar R7 from Mexico, Latam region. And we are off in Kalahari, and we'll see who's going to get the first point this game.
Whoever wins this will determine the state of the series. If WAG wins, they are going into the 1-0 bracket. If R7 wins, we go for game 3 on Nextera. Bad again. Shurikens in hand, triple for all of them. Guys running with the explosive Joker, sharp one of the Cyrus, and a quick knockdown. Instantly the convergence on the side of the Hidden Village Ninjas. Here comes Movisa R7, X4 now. They're in trouble. Della cuts him down with a sight. And appears one place has spent, pulls out a pistol, and the
Double
Shurikens
kill.
instead, and Movie Star R7 with the first point.
Yeah, I mean, the ones making all those points, the ones carrying the heavy shuriken, and 2 for Games King and 1 for Joker. For Della, though, it does have the triple shuriken or the light shuriken, and that is one thing that, I mean, I'm not a fan of. Most of the time, I go in for the triple or the heavy, similar to what we're seeing right now. And Games King is just this guy who can move around as quickly as that. As we get into the next round, we are down in Mammoth, and well, WAG is already moving in onto the spine. Games King is the one going against them, as well as 3 more players. So it's not looking good. Cyrus might be going down that quick.
Yeah, not at all. Not bad again. It's they can't reach the crate.
What a place to put a glue wall.
Never seen before.
Never seen before. I mean, that is a glue wall and the best balancing technique ever. Doesn't even fall down. And the only question is, will it fall later once that glue wall has been shot down? And that would be a disadvantage of who or where that airdrop will be going down as well. Games King though, Kingfisher takedown against BLS, the sniper, not doing so much of a sniper battle, and it's now at 3v4. mean, a rifle, Kingfisher being the king of that game, WAG. Not quite sure what's happening right there. Position-wise, they are off to. I read this already. Cyrus and Tikui will be going down because there's a lot of players in that bone structure, but I was expecting them to recover that quickly, but unfortunately for them, it is BLS1 who has been taken down and they have lost oversight. So Santa Catarina, this is also a field where a sniper will be very useful, especially in the between that crack on that shift. But Tikui as well as Cyrus already jumping in, and this might be a trap set by R7. Three of which already waiting for them. And Tikui up close and personal. Mini Uzi has nothing to do on that MP5.
Tico is still bleeding out. Games King needs help as well. Turbo trying to recover. Tico and Cyrus down with the low. Somehow they force a kunai from Della takes down Cyrus, but this time it's WAG. Has the advantage. Coming out on top. R7 Joker left all alone to pick up the pieces. The PLS1 finds the snipe. Quick recovery from WAG.
Yeah, it's a good thing that they managed to survive that onslaught on one side because it's a 2v3 situation and Tikui has been taken down. But X4 just provides so much of cover to make sure that they don't take advantage of that knockdown, and then they just went in for that slay. Now, back into the map, it is a 2-1 favoring R7, but utility-wise, WAG can get in all those weapons and probably fight back against R7 at this point.
See, I mean, this time we got a lot more buildings to work with. So Movistar R7, they split out in the 2-2. Joker is so deep in enemy territory. Wow, Games King! With the Deagle from that range. Buffalo must be incredibly proud of that performance. Games King and Turbo still ends up getting faded back despite the opening takeoff. As WAG finds the recovery, Della and Joker left. Especially Joker, we need him to step up to the occasion because Smash 1 wasn't really his best. But if there's any time to keep the lead within the control, it's going to be this one. But from a disadvantageous situation, Fireball used to use Decoy, sees Joker. Here comes the blue wall, the ice grenade. Joker tanking that damage. Blue wall gets taken down, forced to retreat.
Yeah, let's see if the retreat will be beneficial for them. Joker!
AW7 वर्सेस 4 करना है ना, MP40 से AS।
अरे ये नून रूम को मार मार के ना हाथ बैठ गया पूरा। हाँ भाई
अच्छे बंदे हैं तो मार नहीं पाएगा।
ठीक है यार,
जाना राइट जाना।
फिनिश कर जल्दी आओ यार, फिनिश करवा दे।
First doom.
पढ़ते हैं इसके
अच्छा
Double
नहीं बचा रहा।
takedown.
बचाना उसको, बचेगा वो। रिवाइव कर, मारो मारो, रिवाइव कर रहा है।
करने से न मारूंगा।
साला चोर एक नंबर का।
Thanks.
रिवाइव करने के बाद इधर ही बैठा।
जानबूझ के जा रहा है।
Triple takedown.
अरे एक ले ले एक। अरे मैंने क्वांटम मारा था यार, मेरा ग्लोरी नहीं हुआ।
वो तुम्हारा ही रिवाइव किया क्या? तुमको बोलना चाहिए।
नहीं मेरा रिवाइव किया।
मैंने भी तो तेरे को रिवाइव किया। बदला सुन।
पटाखा घंटे मांग।
I need equipment.
अरे वो उंगकोंग बना हुआ था, मैं देखा नहीं। डाउन बंदा उसमें छिपा हुआ था ना, दिखा नहीं। चलो ठीक है, नेक्स्ट राउंड में AW चलाता। ग्लोरी तो हो ही गया सिंगल एस पे। एक स्कार का भी हो गया। लास्ट राउंड में AW चलाएंगे। अभी ये राउंड लास्ट राउंड में कर लेना।
बाप रे बाप, दो बंदे एक बंदा तीन बंदे
भागो ना, मरेगा तू। फिनिश कर लो उमर भाई। अरे ये क्या कर रहे हो तुम उमर भाई?
Double
मत
takedown.
मार मार दे पटाखा इसे दिमाग कर रहा है। तू आज बुला लिया, इसके बाद बुलाऊंगा ना कभी। आज बुलाना मीर भाई बुला लेंगे क्या?
Resources here.
Resources here.
Resources here.
Resources here.
स्किल से है, इसलिए तो नहीं बोला, समझा ना? चार्ज ले यार ना मेरा। बस अंदर भी गए। क्या कर रहा है यार? ये भी लोग भेजे हैं बच्चे। बिलोरी तो मैं कन्या किसी को।
First
ना ना मारो।
क्यों मार रहे हो भाई? इतनी बड़ी मेरा किल ही छोड़ दो।
अरे तुमको बोलना चाहिए। छोड़ दो, एक किल करने दो बेचारे को।
takedown.
सारे सब किल मार ही दे हो।
किल करने दो बेचारे को।
जरा मार ले
मार दे दो। उमर भाई तुम्हारा हुआ ग्लोरी की नहीं है AW का। एक सीजन तुम उमर भाई इंडिया टॉप 1 कर लो AW में।
क्यों मार रहे हो भाई? इतनी बड़ी मेरा किल ही छोड़ दो।
अरे तुमको बोलना चाहिए। छोड़ दो, एक किल करने दो बेचारे को।
Takedown.